and welcome back to the channel. If you guys don't know, my name is Blake. I'm a cinematographer in the action sports industry and started this channel up just hoping to spread some knowledge, show some good times, a little behind the scenes of some projects, and maybe in this episode specifically, I can teach you some things that maybe you don't know that I know about how to set up a project, how to edit a short film, and how to shoot a short film. So anyway, this is kind of something that I get a lot of questions about because I do a lot of short doc style projects. And anyway, today in this video, we are going to get into some behind the scenes of a project that I recently shot for Cole Davies and AUS-X Open, which is, if you don't know, a giant supercross race that they do over in Australia. I want to say it's the biggest in Australia by far. And this project kind of worked out perfectly because at the time of shooting this, I had already been spending a couple weeks on the road traveling to shoot Loretta Lynn's, which if you've seen some of my past videos, I kind of talked all about that and what that looked like. And so this shoot with Cole just happened to line up perfectly from when I was coming home from Tennessee, headed back to Florida after a couple long weeks on the road. And yeah, I thought, why not? It's a stop on my way home. So shout out those boys, the AUS-X Open guys, for hooking me up with this shoot. Good guys over there. But yeah, anyway, let's dig into this a little bit. Today I kind of wanted to get into how I go about shooting a short film. And the footage I'm going to use today is a little different because this was actually for the broadcast and the announcement videos on social for Cole Davies coming to AUS-X Open Supercross. So this one isn't necessarily a short film, but I do like to think that the way I go about my shoot days, this project had the exact same structure as what a 10-minute, 15-minute short film of mine would. And so today I'm going to kind of actually dive into Premiere and show you guys how I would lay out a project and give you a little behind the scenes of how I do things. And so first things first, anytime I go to screen record a Premiere project, I have to Google how to screen record on a Mac because for the life of me, I've Googled this 300 times and I can never remember how to do it. So first things first, I'm going to Google how to screen record on a Mac. All right, and so now that that's taken care of, we're going to open up Premiere and I'm going to show you what's up. Today we're going to start fresh. I'm just going to build out a brand new project and show you from square one how I would build out a project file to edit a short film. All right, so we're just going to call this one Cole Davies AUS-X BK Tube. All right, and first thing, you always want to set up where your footage is actually going to go, because if you don't, you're probably just going to lose it forever. So this one, we're going to put it in on the hard drive, BK YouTube, and I'm just going to put it, let's see, right under Cole Davies, Davies video. Create. So now we know exactly where our Premiere file is going to go. We're going to keep everything in this folder. That way everything is right there together. We're not losing it in the chaos of our documents file on our computer. So start there, have a good folder structure. If you're checking out my hard drive right now, that folder structure could be better. We've been busy lately. Don't stress about that. Just act like you didn't see that part. Anyway, we're going to get into this. In Premiere, you kind of have like a nice import, just double click. I'm going to bring in, let's see, where did I put everything? I've got Cole Davies here. I'm going to just bring in day one, which you can see I've structured here as an FX3, a B cam, and a mic. So, and I actually use a different type of mic, which I can talk about that a little bit more later, but I'll show you a little bit of how that works today as well. So anyway, going to import day one, Gem and interview, and then we'll keep going here. So then Next thing I'll do is bring in day 2, which was the action. I just had one FX3 on that, so boom, gonna bring that in. And you can see here in Premiere, we're starting to load in everything, day 1, day 2. And what I like to go ahead and do is just make another file and just keep it all the same. Davies, damn, cannot spell Davies apparently. Davies, Oz, X. Okay, then I'll just bring everything into that. That way we're on the right track here. We can keep everything nice and organized and keep the peace, you know, keep things happy. So anyway, and I mentioned to you that I use a little bit of a different mic setup. For that, I use Tentacle Sync mics. It's a lav that goes on the Talent plus a transmitter that hooks onto your camera. So this is a little different because it's time coded and it runs all day, things like that. So anyway, for those purposes, I have this XML. You probably won't have this unless you're using some kind of time code device. I'm gonna bring that in anyway and show you what that looks like. So we'll put that in there as well. And it's just the Davies interview sync. So I only use the mic on the interview. So, all right, here's where we're gonna start laying things out. I'm gonna build a sequence. I already got my presets here. And I'm just gonna put day 1 string out. And it's just gonna be the footage string out. So we're gonna bring in, pull in day 1 right here. And go ahead and make this big. So yeah, you can see here we got all of day 1 strung out. This is some interview audio that you're seeing here. And I have the sync map for that, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that out. That way it's not so confusing. And this is gonna look a little crazy because I do have gem stuff and interview all mixed in together. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and clean that up a little bit and then we'll move on. Also with this mic setup, one of the things that I like to try and do is get rid of all of the audio that I'm not really using. In this case, only the XLR mic that I have on top of the camera was running, unless it was in the interview settings. So for this, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all of those interview tracks, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna get rid of all of those audio tracks that I'm not using, clean it up nice. And there's better ways to manage that sometimes, depending on if you have multi-tracks of audio, but for me, in this situation, getting rid of it. All right, so from here, what I would do, and like I said, I have that Tentacle Sync sync map for the interview portion. So I'm actually gonna go ahead in this situation and just get rid of the interview as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that out. Don't need it in this situation. So now we are left with, boom, just gem footage of Cole working out. And this is part of what we will use for the main edit. And so this is how I start every project. I come into Premiere and I start building out these folder structures and I start building out these timelines where I can perfectly know where everything is. So for this, day 1 string out, done. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Another sequence, and this one's just gonna be day 2, string outs, if I can spell, string outs. Boom, there we go. Same thing, pull in all of day 2 footage, keep the settings because we got them dialed. Because this is what we do, we work in Premiere. So anyway, same type of deal here. I don't know why Sony cameras always puts in this, all of these pink things that you see here, these pink like thumbnail things. I'm not sure if that's something I need to turn off, maybe so. So if you're a creator that's watching this and you're a little more well-versed than I am, tell me how to turn those fucking things off because they're annoying and I do nothing but delete them every single time I bring in footage. So maybe I should just Google it. Haven't yet. It's just easy enough to delete them, whatever. So here we are, got our footage. This is our action day, day 2. You can see here, this was Cole riding at GPF, which was a pretty sick track, first time there. It's somewhere between Florida and Georgia on the line somewhere, and it's like 15 minutes away from the Star Racing facility, which is pretty cool. And so on day one, we shot our interview and gym footage. So that's why all of that footage was together. Got rid of that interview. So now we're just down to gym footage. Day two, here's our footage. I'm gonna go ahead. I was only running one XLR mic this day on camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of all those other audio tracks. Boom, they're gone. And yeah, so here we are. We're left with one audio track, and pretty much this is our action footage, day two. So now we have day one sequence, day two sequence, and now I'm gonna move into something that could be a little confusing, but this is just how I do things. This is the Tentacle Sync map. And so pretty much it's a lav mic and an on-camera timecode transmitter. Syncs everything up nicely. You can run multi-camera. You can have like 4 cameras synced up to one lav mic on a subject, or you can run like 10 cameras and 10 lav mics and have everything match up perfectly in post. But for this situation, simple interview, nothing crazy. One camera, one mic, done. So for this, I'm gonna bring out the sync map. And this is gonna look a little crazy because I did have that gym footage as well. So we're gonna go ahead. We already have our day one sync map here. We already have our day one footage string out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that gym footage, set this to the front. And so now this is where I'm gonna kind of show you what Tentacle Sync does. So this is straight out of their program. I didn't show you that part, but if you're into Tentacle Sync, let me know. I can show you a little bit. I think it's a game-changing, time code is just game-changing for filmmaking. If you're running multi-camera on a project, you should check it out. Anyway, so here we have this nice, crispy lav mic audio at the bottom, and a few other audio tracks that are perfectly synced up. And in most situations, if it's a big project here, you might have a couple different tracks of audio. You might have like an XLR and like an overhead boom. You might have a lav mic. You might have a few different things going on, multi-cameras. So anyway, Tentacle Sync, what it does is sync all of that up. So for me, I'm gonna actually get rid of everything here besides what we're doing with the lav mic, just because it's that good. And yeah, so there's also ways to just, yeah, we won't get into that. Anyway, so here we are. Sometimes I'll just go in, make this a little louder right off the bat, just so we know what's up. And so now just to recap, we have our day one footage string out, gym work, day two footage string out, which is our action footage. Day three, or I'm sorry, not day three, this was shot on day one, but now we also have our interview timeline. And so at this point, what I would do, and I'm not actually gonna go through and edit like an actual piece right here, but what I will do is give you a little taste of how I would do this. And so for day one here, here's how I would pull those selects. I would go ahead, close this down, go ahead and I would create another sequence. And this one is gonna be action selects. And what I would do here, I'm gonna go through day one and just get the gym work. Let's pick out I'm not gonna go through all of this footage on camera here, so pretty much what I'm gonna do is pick like 5 clips, and I'll do that for day two as well. So to speed that up a little bit, I'm just gonna pick out some clips and I'll show you kind of how that's done. So scrub through. So I'm just gonna scrub through here, pick out a couple things. So that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna cut it and move it up to the next video track. You can see here I have the audio and video selected. So you can kind of just roll from there. So anyway, I'm gonna keep cruising along and I'm just scrubbing through. I'm not sitting here and just watching everything played back because that would take me just as long as it did to shoot it. So I don't wanna sit here for hours doing that. I'm just scrubbing through. I'm just finding good clips. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna cut, scrub to an endpoint here, boom, move it up, and keep moving. So now we got 2 selects, just moving them up. And you pretty much are just doing that with all of your footage. Like, you don't have to watch it all. You're just scrubbing through real quick and like, boom, this is a cool moment. Boom, boom, select, there we go. We're done. Keep moving. Okay, and then so what you'll do, that's, say we did 4 clips here. Say that's day 1 selects. We'll move over to day 2. And we'll go ahead and just start pulling some clips out of there. This is our action day, remember? So gonna just scrub through a bit. Okay, boom, we'll use that one. This is pretty cool, putting his goggles on. Why not? We'll use that one, little intro clip. And now we're just kind of scrubbing through. Cool clip, pull it up. Cool clip, pull it up. Look at that, 2 back to back. Another cool clip, we'll pull it up. And so what we're doing here is we're just going through and we're pulling all of our best shots from each shoot day. So from the gym, we pulled 5 of our best shots. And like I said, if you're actually editing a project, you would go through and pull all of your selects from all of your footage. Just for this video's sake, I'm gonna keep it short and simple. Pull 5 clips and move on. So that way we aren't here all day. So anyway, go through, pull your best shots and just pull them up onto that next video track. Connect your audio, that way when you're going back through to select these later, it's a little bit easier. You're not having to click every single audio track. Here we are, we have some selects built up. I'm just gonna grab a couple more here while we're waiting, just to, just for the fuck of it, you know? Why not? We shot it, we're using it. Why not pull some cool ones? Okay, so at this point we have day 1 string outs, which we only picked a few, and now we have day 2 string outs. I'm gonna move on over into the interview now that we have 2 days of action selects. We're gonna go in and just pick out a couple interview clips. I'm doing the same thing here in the interview, going through and just picking out the best talking points and the best answers that Cole gave me. And these are what will be used in the actual project. In this case, project. We aren't actually building out a project here. This is more just for kind of an example and the layout that I would use for editing a short film. So anyway, here we go. Let's see what Cole has to say on a couple of these. And the edit that I'm gonna make here isn't gonna be like perfect. I'm not actually gonna do a full out edit. This is more so just the structure and how you would do it if you were gonna edit a short film. Maybe sometime later I can actually show you some films that I have edited and how that went together. But for now, this is kind of just the steps that I would take to structure a short film in post-production. So now that we have our selects pulled, for this example, I just pulled about 3 sound bites from the interview. I'm gonna just build out another sequence, all about sequences. You gotta have like everything detailed, everything kind of put in a place where you can go back and know exactly where it is and how to find it for when you're editing. So another sequence here, this one's gonna be called Interview Selects. Probably could have guessed it. All right, so now we're gonna go grab those clips from the interview. We're just gonna Command-C copy, Command-V paste. Look at that, now it's all spaced out, so we're just gonna drop down, close gap. Just makes it quick and easy. And we're gonna make these a little bigger here on our tracks. So now we got some interview. And yes, there was a B cam in this. I'm not gonna go through the process of syncing all of that up right now. So 1 video track for the interview, nice and easy. But typically there are 2 to 3 cameras on an interview. So for this example, it's just 1. We're gonna keep it nice, clean, and simple. So now we have got, oops. Sorry, skipping steps here. So now that we have our interview selects, we can go ahead and close out the interview. We don't need that anymore. Now we have our action selects. So we're gonna go through and just select those. Command-C, put them in action selects on our sequence that we've made and close the gap. Nice and easy. There's that. And then we're gonna move into day 2 and get our writing selects. We're just gonna position them here so you can see and close the gap. And so now we can close out those 2 days. And at this point, you can kind of see what our work has turned into. We have our action selects, a few gem clips from day 1. And we also have our riding selects. You can just scrub through and see what's there. Best shots, for this example, best shots that we have chosen for our master edit that we're gonna have. And then we also have our interview selects. So now instead of working out of 5 million clips that we probably shot throughout the day, we have a nice selection. Here we have almost 2 minutes of footage that we can use, and then the interview is about another minute. And so why this process is so important when shooting a short film or editing a short film is we can take our footage down very quickly from having 4 hours of footage down to now we have 30 minutes. In this example, we went from having 4 hours to 4 minutes, you know? We're making our selections for the short film pretty easy just by narrowing down like where our best shots are and how can we access them quickly to then edit the film. So now that we have action selects, interview selects, this is where we would go ahead and build out yet another sequence. We love sequences around here. We would go ahead and build out our master edit. Boom. Fresh plate here that we can start working on. And so when we get to this point, this is where the process for a lot of editors is a little different. But for me, how I like to start these short doc projects in order to tell the story and get things rolling in the right direction quickly, because it's so easy when you are overwhelmed looking at all this footage and you have all these great shots laid out, all these great interview bites. And when you have all of that, it's easy to sit down and just become overwhelmed and be looking at a blank screen for, hours. So the way I like to just go ahead, get the ball rolling, that way you aren't overthinking, you aren't spinning your wheels here. The best way that I like to get started is just to start structuring the interview. So I'll go into interview selects. Let's see what we got here and I'll show you an example.
I'm back to Marvel Stadium. My mindset going into OzX, it's definitely going to be a cool race for me.
All right, so we're going to just use this one first for the example. I'm just going to copy paste. Boom, there we go. We got one clip on the track for our edit. And that's a nice way to start. You lay out your storyline first, build your B-roll over it, and then of course you have your music and audio that complements everything. You build in your sound design after that. But right now we have an interview on board, and we can go into our action selects, and we can just see what we have here. Let's see what, all right, let's use this, just a quick one. Like this isn't anything serious, so copy paste it in. We're not gonna need the audio on this, so we're just gonna, for me, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I know where I can find it if I were to need it. So I'm just gonna bring this over top and start building out a little bit of B-roll here. Just try to build a quick example of Cole introducing himself to Marvel Stadium, which is where he'll be racing OzX Open. And we're just gonna show him working hard in the gym. He's coming back off an injury. So cool, we got some dope clips of Cole in the gym working out. So we're just gonna copy that video track, like I said. Let's move on over and we will just go ahead and build in some action here while we're at it, just to give it a little feel. Him kind of just gearing up. And this is kind of like, this example will be more like a short doc structure, but it's just gonna be a quick little clip to give you that example. So, okay, cool. Found another interview bite. Just gonna cut this out, drop this in, quick and easy. And so the most important thing with how I've structured this project file is you have a simple and easy way to say, hey, here's my interview, which is the storyline. Hey, here's my action footage, which is my B-roll to explain the storyline. And then so once you get into this master edit, it's pretty simple and easy to be able to say, hey, I have my best interview clips here, my best action here. Let's lay down some interview clips, which is our storyline. And it's okay to go through and lay out the entire project at that point. Like you can lay out 15 minutes of your best interview clips in a row and how they make sense, and then start to just fill in B-roll that supports that over top of it. And then next thing you know, all you have to do is your sound design, and then just tighten it up to where it fits the sound design, and boom, you've got a project. It's pretty easy to get this thing going. And I just think that this process is really important for anyone who is trying to shoot and edit a short film, especially if you're just one crew. This is a nice, quick, and easy way to get the ball rolling and not find yourself sitting around for 4 hours figuring out how to start this thing. So from here, I'm gonna just cruise over. Let's see if we can just find something like, oh, here's my how to screen record. So let's just see if we can find something that's kind of like, we'll pop over to Artlist. No sponsorship there, by the way. You know, we can throw some music on here and just give you the real feel of what we're building out here. So let's see, we want something cinematic. We're just gonna go like cliche edit right now. I feel like everyone is just like, oh, violins and cinema. So we're just gonna see what we got. And just find something that's fitting for our project. That's what we're gonna do in this example anyway. So let's see what we got here. All right, we're just gonna roll with this one for video's sake, just because we're trying to keep it short here. Go ahead and just download that one, your nearest and dearest ultra cinematic song that everyone tends to play out. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and just drop this into Premiere. And we're just gonna drop it under and probably quieten it down a little bit. So let's see what we got. So pretty much now we've got our B-roll, our music, which it might not be the best fitting music for this, but for this example, we're gonna run it. And so the purpose of this video was to kind of show you the process of how to shoot your short films, how to edit your short films, and get a good start out there, because I feel like having a good post-production process along with good pre-production, of course, because you have to be able to shoot interview, action, and you need to be able to know how all of this is gonna look before you even begin shooting or editing. So my hope is that in this short video, I've been able to give you a little bit of a structure in your post-production workflow. This works for me all of the time. I do the same process every single time I shoot a short film. So hopefully this process kind of helps you on your next short film. If you have any questions, drop them down below. But for now, let's check out our finished project.
Yeah, going back to Marvel Stadium, you know, I'm excited to go, you know, just get back to racing, and definitely going to be a cool race for me, because since there's, you know, family and friends there, you know, obviously the fans are going to be there too, which is cool and all that, and you know, I'm excited. It's a bit of a home race for me. So yeah, I'm excited to go, you know, show everyone what I got, show everyone that I'm back.
All right, so there's our finished project. And from here, I would just color everything up. I'll have the edit that we've done here today colored when I previewed on the screen that you just watched. I'll get into color grading one day, but for now, this is kind of the structure of how to edit a short film efficiently. It works for me. I'm sure there are people out there who do it way more in depth, way better than I do. But for now, this is what I'm working with and how I accomplish 95% of the films that I work on. Hope this helped. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or what you would like to see more of, and we'll catch you next time.